In an old, crumbling mansion on the edge of town, a local legend whispered of a forgotten room. No one dared enter, but curiosity gnawed at Jenna, a newcomer drawn to the eerie tales. One rainy afternoon, armed with a flashlight, she decided to explore the mansion. The air was thick with dust, and the floorboards creaked under her weight. Shadows danced in the corners, and the faded wallpaper peeled away like old memories. As she moved deeper into the house, Jenna stumbled upon a narrow staircase leading to the attic. Heart racing, she climbed slowly, the light flickering with each step. At the top, she found a heavy wooden door, its edges splintered and darkened by time. With a deep breath, she pushed it open. Inside, the room was untouched, frozen in time. An ornate mirror stood against one wall, its glass cloudy and cracked. Dust motes floated in the air, catching the dim light. Jenna stepped inside, drawn to the mirror. She peered into its depths, and for a moment, she saw herself, then something else. A shadowy figure loomed behind her, its eyes glinting with malevolence. She whipped around, but the room was empty. Panic gripped her. Turning back to the mirror, she saw the figure again, closer this time, a twisted smile spreading across its face. Jenna stumbled backward, her breath quickening. She turned to flee, but the door slammed shut, trapping her inside. The figure in the mirror grinned wider, and Jenna felt a cold presence envelop her. Desperate, she pounded on the door, but no sound escaped. The room felt alive, closing in around her. Suddenly, the mirror shattered, and shards flew through the air, slicing the silence. In the chaos, Jenna caught a glimpse of herself in the fragments, but there was something wrong. Each piece reflected a different version of her, some smiling, some crying, all twisted. Then, the air grew still. The shadow reached out from the shards, grasping her wrist. She screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the darkness. As the last shard fell, the room fell silent once more. When the townspeople finally ventured in, they found the door ajar, but Jenna was gone. In the attic, the mirror was whole again, gleaming ominously, holding secrets of the forgotten room. And as night fell, a faint echo of laughter lingered in the air, a reminder of the price of curiosity. In a small, unremarkable town, Sarah stumbled upon an old photograph at a flea market. It showed a happy family posing in front of a grand, dilapidated mansion. Intrigued by the eerie beauty of the scene, she purchased it and brought it home, unaware of the dark history it carried. That night, Sarah placed the photograph on her mantel. As the clock struck midnight, she heard faint whispers echoing through her house. The room grew colder, and the faces in the photograph seemed to shift subtly, their smiles fading into expressions of fear and sorrow. Uneasy, Sarah examined the picture closely and noticed something odd, a shadowy figure lurking in the background, barely visible. Determined to uncover the mystery, she researched the mansion and learned about a tragic fire that had claimed the lives of the family depicted in the photograph. As she pieced together their story, the whispers grew louder, desperate and frantic. The family's spirits were trapped, bound to the photograph, unable to find peace. Realizing she needed to free them, Sarah carefully set the photograph on her kitchen table and lit a candle beside it, hoping to communicate. Suddenly, the shadows in the room swirled, forming a dark mist that enveloped her. The whispers escalated to frantic cries, urging her to help. Heart racing, Sarah felt a pull to the photograph, as if the spirits were reaching out to her. In a moment of desperation, she tore the photograph in half, releasing a blinding light. The shadows dissipated, and the whispers transformed into soft sighs of relief. For a brief moment, Sarah saw the family standing in front of her, grateful yet sorrowful, before they vanished into the light. The next morning, she found the torn pieces of the photograph lying on the table, but the shadows were gone, and the house felt lighter. However, as she turned to leave, she noticed another photograph on the mantel, a picture of her own family, untouched and serene, with a shadowy figure lurking in the background.
In a quiet town, nestled between thick woods, lived a girl named Sarah. She often wandered into the forest, captivated by its beauty. One day, while exploring deeper than usual, she stumbled upon an old, abandoned cabin. The air around it felt heavy, and an eerie silence enveloped her. Curiosity piqued. Sarah stepped inside. Dust danced in the sunlight filtering through cracked windows. As she explored, she noticed strange markings on the walls, scratches that looked like words. Suddenly, she heard a faint whisper, "Get out!" Ignoring her instinct to leave, she ventured further. The whispers grew louder, forming incoherent sentences, but one phrase repeated, "You shouldn't be here." Chills raced down her spine, yet she pressed on, entranced by the mystery. In the corner of the main room stood a mirror, covered in dust. Sarah wiped it clean, revealing a reflection that sent her heart racing. It wasn't her own. Instead, she saw a girl, pale and ghostly, with hollow eyes filled with despair. The girl's lips moved, whispering, "Help me!" Panicking, Sarah turned to run, but found the doorway blocked by a dark figure, shrouded in shadows. The air grew colder, and the whispers turned frantic. "Stay! Don't leave us!" Frantically, Sarah pushed past the figure, sprinting into the woods. The whispers faded as she broke free from the cabin's grip, but the sensation of being watched lingered. She reached home, heart pounding, and vowed never to return to the woods. Weeks passed, but Sarah couldn't shake the experience. At night, the whispers returned, echoing in her dreams. They filled her with dread, urging her back to the cabin. One night, unable to resist, she returned, drawn like a moth to a flame. When she arrived, the cabin appeared even more sinister. The shadows seemed to twist and turn, and the air felt charged with energy. As she stepped inside, the whispers grew deafening. "You came back!" This time, Sarah didn't see the girl in the mirror. Instead, her own reflection grinned back, eyes dark and hollow. The whispers turned into a cacophony of laughter, and she felt cold hands grasping her, pulling her toward the mirror. Panicked, Sarah tried to break free, but it was too late. The shadows enveloped her, and the last thing she heard was the whispering laughter echoing through the cabin. The next morning, the townsfolk found the cabin abandoned once more, but the whispers continued to haunt the woods, waiting for the next curious soul.